Hello again, viewers, and greetings, fellow space travelers. This is Thorn of Night, and welcome to episode 8 of my bee breeding guide. In today's episode, or in this episode rather, we are going to be covering another branch of bees. This time it's going to be the BARREN Branch. And I am back here in the landing on my map, which you can download to investigate yourself if you wish. So you can get a more hands-on experience with the breeding and doing some experiments of your own, so you don't have to ruin your own map. But we're going to head off in this direction and come over here before we get to the apes, because the apes actually aren't really necessary for getting the BARREN Branch going, but they are used as a component, and I'll tell you about that in a moment. But first, we are here in the BARREN hub, as it were, and there are 5 bees that you need to know about for the BARREN Branch. They are the ARID, BARREN, DESOLATE, GNAWING, and DECOMPOSING, which has a typo in the actual bee item itself. And these bees like it hot. Quick rundown, they like the hotter, drier conditions, and they normally need dead bushes as flowers. Dead bushes can be found in deserts all over the place, but you will need shears to get them. The desolate bee specifically has a status effect which makes you lose your hunger rapidly. It has the effect hunger. And the decaying bee is interesting in that it requires wood, actual logs, as its flower. Now this branch is, well, I keep hitting E to exit out of the books. This branch does work at night, so you can have them working all day and all night long towards your progress here. Now, what you can expect to get out of the bees, in general, you'll be able to get this stuff called barren comb. And barren comb just produces beeswax and honey drops, nothing special there. Now the decomposing bee, as you can see there it says decomposing, produces decomposed comb, which will get you honey drops, but also gives you compost, which is used for a few things, not much. And then the gnawing bees will give you dusty comb, which doesn't give you beeswax, and it gives you just a very small amount of honey drops. So let's go take a look at the BARREN Branch and see if this doesn't crash. Alright, it didn't crash. Alright, quick rundown here. In this age, I made an age for a few of the bee branches that tend to require hotter, drier climates. So I made a desert biome, or desert biome age in Mistcraft. This should be all sand, however, the world spawned with dirt everywhere, and as soon as I placed a single grass block to house the flowers, it started spreading everywhere, so it's a desert covered in grass, and there's green stars. I do have it set up for the bees that require daytime in the desert. I have included a bed if you want to work with that. So for instance, if you have some traits from the meadows bees that you want to work with in here, you're going to have to probably sleep. So keep that in mind. I have included a bed for that purpose. Now, this is an apiarist suit, which I am also wearing here, all 4 pieces. That way, when you are working with the bees, the desolate bee that gives you the hunger, you don't have to deal with the hunger. And all it does is it just affects the hunger bar that you've got down here, which let me show you in non-creative mode. There we go. At the bottom, the little ham bones over there, or whatever they are, chicken bones or whatever. That's the hunger bar. Alright, now what you're going to need to get this branch going are a couple of hive bees. One you'll find in the desert. It's a modest bee from these yellow hives, and the other is a meadows bee from the, I guess, orangish color, kinda. I guess it's orangish, brownish orange, something like that. Anyway, for this test world or demo world, I have included the modest princesses and the meadows drones because the breeding process will take the active traits of the princess when it goes to do its actual breeding process. Now, the meadows and modest bee are what I call level 1 bees. You can get them from hives, and you can use them to make this level 2 bee called the ARID bee. And I have also managed to create a common bee because you can get commons out of breeding modest and meadows. Modest and mottos. Interesting. Now let's take a look at this ARID princess here, just so you can get a better idea of the stats. As you can see, it has the primary active traits as ARID and the secondary, the inactive, as modest. And it only took one generation to breed it. Now let's grab a modest from the little NEI cheat database over here. So, not a modest, I want an ARID. What am I doing? I'm sorry. ARID, there we go. Alright. Put that up here. Do a quick side-by-side. As you can see, even the active trait is different, and that's because of just having traits from doing the breeding. And that will happen just normally when you're doing this. And also, if I bring it down here, even the tolerances are different. So the one that's been in captivity has some temperature tolerances both directions, whereas the normal one does not. And I will leave those in this chest right here for you to examine. This is the hybrid, and this is the creative spawned one. And I did need a cactus for doing some of the breeding because of the modest. So keep that in mind. When you're doing the breeding, you'll need different flowers than you will necessarily need for the actual outcome. Now, the ARID bees, the output for them, the typical output is going to be roughly this: a comb, if you're lucky, and a princess and 1 or 2 drones normally. Actually, normally it's going to be 2 unless you have a sort of unstable line of bees. You might get a different number here. Now the where'd it go? The barren comb here, which is the typical output of the ARID bees. I went ahead and did 2 stacks of barren because I don't know why I did that. But anyway, you can expect typically to get about half a stack of honey drops. Now I've got some spare honey drops, oh well. And about a stack of the beeswax. As you can see over here, I just did 1. Alright, next up is the barren bee. You are going to require a common bee from the Apis branch. If you don't know how to make that, I have a linking book to the common bee, to the Apis branch over there. So you can go take a look at that. And then you're going to need one of these ARID bees that you've just bred, and I have left some stock in here for you to work with. And you will get a barren bee, which I have right here. And I will go ahead and grab this princess so I can show you how long it took me to do this. It just took 1 breeding generation in order to get this guy. And here are the stats for it. And let's go ahead and get a barren drone creative spawned, so you can see a side-by-side comparison. Here is the creative one, and here is the bred one. As you can see, the inactive traits are different. Come over here. All these are the same. And maybe some of the output is different, not sure. Nope, no different output. So one of these is the hybrid, the other one is the creative one, and I will leave these in here for you to look at, as well as this, so you can look at that if you wish. Next up is the Desolate bee. It's going to require a Barren bee, which is a level 3 bee as I'm calling it, and the ARID bee, and you'll be able to get some of these Desolate bees. Actually, before I do this, I'm sorry, I almost forgot the output. You're typically going to get one drone out of this endeavor, and you'll be really lucky if you can get a comb out of one normal breeding or one normal life cycle from a princess. And like I said, you'll get about half a stack of honey drops and about a stack of beeswax. Anyway, moving on. Sorry. The Desolate bee, which, there we go, it's the princess itself. Excellent. Let me go ahead and grab a Desolate. There we go. A creative one so you can see the differences. First off, actually, other than the hunger, it looks the same. That's kind of neat. Oh wait, no, and the number of bees for the drone output. That's another difference there. All right, so that one basically made a almost purebred Desolate bee with some slight differences in the fertility and the effect. Now this is the one that gives you the hunger effect, and while the princess is doing its thing, you will have the hunger bar dwindling rather quickly if you don't have a full set of apiarist gear on. Now I did want to look, wait, no, that's the one I spawned. This one took a while to get. 38 generations. It's not instant gratification for this bee, so be patient. But I will leave these in here for you to look at as well, so you can compare them and take a look at them. And here is the output. You're generally going to get one drone, and if you are really lucky, you'll get some barren comb out of this. And once again, here's the typical output for a stack of barren comb. Alright, next up we have the gnawing bee. Now the gnawing bee is going to require a barren, which you bred over here, the level 3. And it's going to require a forest bee, which you can get from a hive. And I have some stock in here for you to work with. The gnawing bee, which I got 2 of them, is level 4B here, and I got sidetracked by a thump. I think I just had a squirrel run across my roof. That's kind of weird. Anyway, I need a gnawing bee here, so let's grab, there it is, one of these. Let's take a look at the differences. First off, you can see it's been bred with a forest bee, and it only took 1 generation to make. You're not always going to have that sort of luck, but I did. And as you can see, there are some differences even in the active one, so these differences will have to get whittled out by breeding gnawing bees with more gnawing bees in order to get their actual traits. But let's see here. There are some differences here too. The one that I bred, the hybrid here, is not nocturnal. And let's see here. What are the other differences? Inactive, it has no tolerances because of the forest bee that I used for the breeding. But I will leave these in here for you to look at, and here's the typical output. Now the gnawing bee does require wood as its flower, so keep that in mind. Now the gnawing bee gives you, aside from the barren comb, which it can give you, will give you dusty comb, and also typically just 1 drone. There's some barren comb there. Now the dusty comb, out of a stack of dusty comb, you will only get up to maybe about 15 honey drops if you're really, really lucky. Don't rely on it for getting much product. Next bee, and the final one in the series, is called the decomposing bee, or decomposing if you need to do the search in the NEI. It will require one of these gnawing bees and a common, which you can figure out how to do that over there through that linking book. And I've left some stock in here for you. The decomposing bee, and I will also grab the princess so we can see how many generations it took to do this. 3 generations. Okay, that wasn't too bad. So let's go ahead and identify this here and get ourselves a decomposing bee. This is a drone, so I'll need a drone. Alright. Some differences here. You can see the flower changing for the one that I had to breed myself. And then over here some inactive traits changed, but nothing too terribly different there. It says 0 generations in captivity. That's kind of nice. But I will leave these here for you to look at. And that leads to the output. And they do require dead bushes, which, like I said, you are going to need shears to get them, or you'll need to place the apiaries near one in the world. But the decomposing bee will typically give you 1 bee for its output, as you can see there. And you might get a comb out of this, one or the other. Now the decomposing comb will, if you run it through centrifuge, will give you about 15-ish honey drops, but it will give you about a stack of this compost, which has some uses, but it's not really all that much. And they don't have any status effects, so you don't have to worry about that. Lastly, bees in this branch are used for making hostile and austere bees. So you are going to need to do this branch before you can move on to those 2 branches there. But that is going to be it for this episode. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this information was helpful for you. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to get back to you. If you like this video and like what I'm doing here, please give me a like. I do appreciate it. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe so you know when my next stuff comes out. All the episodes in this series, once I'm done with it, will be cross-linked, so you can go from watching this video to watching the austere or the hostile, or you can go back to the common if you need to. Or, like I said, you can just download this map. It is in the Feed the Beast Unleashed mod pack. And I will be putting up 2 versions. I've put up the one from before this episode, which does contain this branch here, but does not contain the additional information in the main hub. And then when the series is done, I will include the updated hub as well as any other information that I need to add as a final download for you guys. But both will be in the Unleashed mod pack for you to download. But that is going to have to be it for this episode, so thank you once again for watching. This is Thorn of Night, and I will talk to you later.